Welcome to Samakra Shiksha debate, Class 10 English. This is a topic on Ponnimanturi village, India, part 2 of a tale of three villages from the theme biodiversity. To start with, the writer happens to meet the victim of tanning industry located in Ponnimanturi village. Tanning industry is where the skin of all animals, most of the animals, they are used to make leather products. So here we go. I can remember the time, she said wistfully, when all the fields around this village were green and the harvest good. Her outstretched arm described a complete circle as she stood in the morning sun. Then they built those monsters, those. Her voice spluttered in anger as she shook her fist at a collection of ominous looking black buildings on the horizon, covered in a low lying shroud of thick smoke. So, the victim, named Vijayasama, she points out to the circle of area where the writer, along with his companions, they happen to visit the village of Ponnimanturi. So they visit and talk to certain victims of tanning industry. A woman named Vijayasama points out with her stretched arm to the surrounding area, the horizon, the place where sky and the land meets. She compares before this tanning industry was set up, there was very lush green fields. But now she talks about this monstrous, ominous looking building. That means monsters means an imaginary ugly animals. So she just imagines that they're very ugly and animals. I mean, she treats those tanning industries like ominous looking building. That means ominous means something bad is going to happen. So she talks about the result of tanning industries, how they are going to be in the future, how it's going to affect. So she's treating them like monsters, dangerous animals. So she wanted to compare how they were with her fist. Fist means clenching of her hand and with spluttering voice. That means with sadness she speaks. Wistfully means sadness. And as she speaks, her voice gets choked and while spluttering. With lot of anger showing the fist she shows. See, this was a tanning industry she was pointing about. And before this industry was set up, their village surroundings were with lush green crops. Before tanning industry, this was the area they had like this. But after the tanning industry was set up, this is the position of the condition. So she was with lot of grief and tragic experience what they underwent. She was comparing about before the tanning industry's condition and the present tanning industry's condition. How the smoke coming out of these chimneys had affected their livelihood, affected their crops, loss of greenery and all. So Ponnimanturi village got disturbed with their greenery. So they said that factories need leather to make shoes, handbags and clothes. They said our menfolk would get jobs. They said we would become rich. Look here. Here they means the owners of the factory. They said they wanted to set up a leather industry, that means tanning industry, to prepare, to manufacture. These all are leather products, children. And here, all these village owners, factory owners, they visited Ponnimanturi village and they offered jobs to work in their factory to manufacture all these leather products. Can you see the handbag, shoes, wallet to store money, to keep money, then some other articles, clothes. leather jackets, gloves. See, all these are the products produced from skin of animals in tanning industry to make leather products. So people of Ponnimanturi village, they were offered jobs. This, owners, they just wanted to lure the men, the men folk. Men folk means uh, people, men of family or men of community. They were offered jobs. They were told that they would become rich by working in their tanning industry to manufacture all this. See, they were told that they would be offered good jobs. Okay, so we stood silent. Here, we means the writer and his companions. They were standing silent. They were thinking, each thinking our own thoughts. Yes, they told you all that. But there is so much they didn't tell you. They didn't tell you that to change animal skins into leather, which they call tanning, uses as many as 250 different chemicals, including heavy metals such as cadmium, arsenic, and chromium. See, they were told that the owners of the leather industry, they told the men folk that they would get jobs for their livelihood, but they didn't tell but how 250 varieties of chemicals would be added in the leather making products. They were not told all this. So these all cadmium, arsenic, and chromium metals, they are very heavy, they cause very harmful effects for their health. They were not told all this. They were only told about good jobs that will be offered and they would become rich. That's it. They didn't tell you that these chemicals are discharged into the environment from those chimney stacks and fall to earth for miles around, polluting the earth below. They didn't tell you that this would poison your fields so that nothing will grow. Here they means owners of the factory children. So you means the villagers of Purnimanturi, the workers. So the visitors, the writer, they told to the villagers that they were not told after working or after setting up the tanning industry, they were not told how the earth is going to get polluted, how water and air is going to get polluted, how their fields get poisoned with underground water pollution. And in the future also, there won't be any growth of food crops. So villagers of Purnimanturi were not told about the possibilities and negative effects of tanning industry. Nothing. They didn't know that their fields will be poisoned. See, they didn't tell us that the chemicals would be dumped into open fields and into our rivers, sighed Vijayasama. We had been thinking the same thoughts. They didn't tell us that our women would have to walk 10 kilometers every day here. So Vijayasama is one of the victims. So she expressed her anguish to the writer and his companions. So tanning industry owners, they did not tell the women folk that every day they had to walk 10 kilometers. They only told about they would become rich, their men would get jobs, but the other side, the ill effects of the environment, their health, impact of chemicals, nothing they were told. How difficult, just imagine walking 10 kilometers a day, women, very difficult. So negative impacts were not told. So they just offered jobs. They occupied their villages, area, and their crops. All were damaged, all were destroyed. See, they didn't tell us that we would get ulcer and sores on our bodies. They didn't tell us. Her voice trailed off. There is so much they didn't tell you, I thought. We don't buy leather shoes or leather handbags or leather clothes, she said. Can you see how Vijayasama is expressing a tragedy? See, because they worked in leather industry, their skin got affected like this. See the change in their skin pigmentation. So they develop lot of ulcers, cuts in their body parts. Sores means painful wounds on their bodies. So factory owners did not tell them, they did not inform them that their health is going to get affected. They only told that people will be offered jobs, they would get rich. See, at last she ends. The trailed voice, trailed means slowly quietening her voice, and finally she stopped telling. Lot of anguish she expressed, Vijayasama. So the health they have lost, the health that got affected, the livelihood did not help them. Jobs in leather industry did not help them to become rich. In the other side, they only suffered. They only suffered. That's it. So she said, who wants leather handbags? They did not. They didn't buy leather handbags, leather clothes. They didn't buy. They don't want to also. But they only suffered, got troubled by working in tanning industry. This is what Vijayasama expressed her grief working in the tanning industry of Ponnimantuli village. So by this, what do we know, children? See, can you see the pictures? People working, men folk working in the tanning industry using various harmful chemicals, cadmium, arsenic, chromium, these all are the chemicals. Can you see the skin of animals? They are dried and colored and cleaned. During this process, see lot of waste product water dumped into the rivers. River water got polluted, animals died. See the blood. After the animals died, the various chemicals that they use, all chemicals got dumped into the surrounding rivers. The rivers got polluted with stinking smell for the residents. So these all are the harmful effects caused by tanning industry. So children, thank you so much for spending a time to listen this, and I instruct you to read the textbook lesson. This is a very important lesson related to the environment, the biodiversity lesson. Thank you.